Your job is designed to make someone else permanently wealthy? Think about this. You spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year working for someone else's dream. That's roughly 120,000 hours of your life. And at the end of it, you have a paycheck, maybe a pension, and the satisfaction of a job well done. But your boss? Your boss has assets, buildings, equity, investments that compound while they sleep. You've been climbing a ladder that belongs to someone else. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Just not for you. Most people never realize they're trapped in a wealth transfer machine. You put in the labor. Someone else collects the compounding returns. This isn't cynicism. It's math. And today, we're going to show you exactly how it works and why breaking free is the most important financial decision you'll ever make. Let's start with the fundamental problem. You trade your time for money. That sounds reasonable until you do the math. If you earn $50,000 a year, you're essentially selling 24 hours of your life every single day for a price set by someone else. But here's what makes it a trap. Time only moves in one direction. You can't get more of it. You can't compound it. You can only spend it once. Rich people understand something you don't. They stopped trading time for money decades ago. They discovered that money can work for you while you sleep. But employees? Employees are stuck in a linear equation. You only make money when you're actively working. Miss a week? Your income drops by $500. Take a month off? You're out $2,000. This is the invisible cage. It feels like freedom because you get a paycheck every 2 weeks. You can buy groceries. You can pay rent. You can save a little if you're disciplined. But you're solving a poverty problem, not building wealth. Wealth is created when money makes money. When your assets generate income without you lifting a finger. An employee's income dies when they stop working. An asset owner's income never stops. Compound interest is called the eighth wonder of the world for a reason. Albert Einstein allegedly said that he who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. Here's what nobody tells you about compound interest. It's a force that works in two directions. For rich people, it's their best friend. For employees, it's their silent killer. Let me show you the math. Imagine two people. Person A saves $15,000 a year into an investment returning 8% annually. Person B earns a $100,000 salary. They both start at age 25. By age 65, Person A has $5.7 million. Person B? They have $5 million in gross income, minus taxes, minus living expenses. Maybe they've saved $100,000 if they're lucky. Person A's money made money for 40 years. Person B's labor made money for 40 years. The difference? Money is an asset. Your labor is a service. Assets compound. Services don't. But wait, it gets worse. Your employer is Person A. They're taking part of your labor value, reinvesting it in assets, and letting compound interest do the heavy lifting. They started with capital. You started with an hourly rate. They have exponential growth. You have linear growth. This isn't about working harder. It's about understanding that the game itself is designed for you to lose. Job security feels safe. It's the reason you stay. You know exactly what you'll earn next month. Your insurance is covered. Your 401k has a match. You have dental. It sounds rational. It sounds responsible. But safety has a price tag. It's called opportunity cost. And nobody calculates it. Here's a real scenario. You have a job offer. $60,000 a year. Safe. Reliable. But you also have a business idea. It might make you $10,000 in year 1. Year 2 might be $50,000. Year 3 could be $200,000. Most people choose the $60,000 job. Why? Because the business idea feels risky. They have a mortgage. They have dependents. They can't afford to risk it. So they choose safety. But what's the real cost? If your business succeeds, you've given up $1.5 million over the next 15 years. That's not just the money you didn't make. That's also the exponential growth on that money, the compounding you surrendered. Successful entrepreneurs aren't risk takers. They're opportunity seekers. They understand that saying no to one thing means saying yes to mediocrity in everything else. Your job security isn't protecting you. It's imprisoning you. It's preventing you from even trying to build something bigger. And the worst part? You'll never know what you could have become because you were too comfortable to find out. Wealthy people do something fundamentally different. They own assets. An asset is anything that produces income without you having to work for it. Real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property, bonds, commodities. When you own assets, you wake up richer than you went to bed. This isn't luck. This is an inheritance. This is a system. The system starts with capital. You need money to make money. That's why the first asset is usually purchased with savings. But here's what changes everything. Once you have one asset generating income, you use that income to buy another asset. This is leverage. This is how wealth accelerates. A person earning $100,000 a year salary can save maybe $15,000. They have $85,000 in expenses and taxes. But someone with assets generating $100,000 in income can reinvest $70,000 of it and live on $30,000. Within 5 years, they've doubled their asset base. Their income is now compounding. Your salary is not. Let me give you a concrete example. Someone buys a rental property for $400,000. They put down $80,000. They borrow the rest. That property generates $4,000 a month in rent. After expenses, they keep $2,000. That's $24,000 a year. But they only invested $80,000 up front. That's a 30% return. In year 5, they buy another property. In year 10, they own 4 properties. That's $8,000 a month coming in passively. Meanwhile, the employee working the same time frame went from $100,000 to $110,000 in salary. Here's a question that will change your life if you answer it honestly. What are you willing to sacrifice for 5 years? Not 30 years. Not your whole life. 5 years. 5 years is the magic threshold where most people can build a foundation of assets that generate meaningful income. I'm not talking about gambling. I'm talking about calculated risk. Here's how it works. You maintain your current job for income stability. But every hour outside of that job, you invest in building an asset. Maybe it's a digital product, an online course, a service business, a freelance skill, a rental property. The key is that this asset can eventually run without your direct involvement. Within 2 years, if you're disciplined, this asset generates $5,000 a month. You're now earning $120,000 a year from your job plus $60,000 from your asset. You've hit $180,000. Now here's the turning point. In year 3, you stop trading time. You quit the job. You live off the asset income of $5,000 a month. You have time, real time, to scale that asset to $10,000 a month, to build a second asset, to think strategically instead of working tactically. By year 5, you might have $15,000 a month in passive income. You're financially independent. You made more money in 5 years of sacrifice than most people make in 15 years of work. And you did it while managing risk. Most people don't do this. Why? Because the temporary sacrifice feels too hard. They'd rather have comfort now and struggle forever. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Here's exactly what to do. First, calculate your real hourly rate. Take your annual salary, subtract taxes, divide by your actual working hours including commute and unpaid work. Be honest. Most people discover they're making less than they thought. That clarity is motivating. Second, identify what asset you can build. You don't need money to start. You have knowledge. You have skills. You have experience. A consultant charges $200 an hour because they have specialized knowledge. A course creator makes passive income because they package that knowledge once and sell it repeatedly. A content creator builds an audience, then monetizes it. These cost almost nothing to start, only time. Third, commit to the 5-year rule. Calculate what you'd earn if you succeeded. Make it real, not someday, not maybe. If I build a $5,000 a month asset in 2 years, my life changes. Write that down. Make it specific. Fourth, remove the excuse. You don't have enough time. Yes, you do. You have 3 hours a week. That's 150 hours a year. That's enough. You don't have enough money. You don't need any. Start with what you know. Fifth, track your progress monthly. Not your job salary. Your asset income. That's what matters. When your asset income reaches 50% of your job income, you know you're close. The goal isn't to get rich. The goal is to stop trading your time for money. Once you do that, wealth becomes inevitable. You now understand something most people never will. The system isn't broken. It's working perfectly. Just not for you. But here's what changes everything. Knowledge is useless without action. Reading this, understanding this, feeling motivated right now won't build wealth. Only one thing builds wealth. Decision followed by discipline. You have to decide right now that the next 5 years are different. Not different in fantasy. Different in action. Different in how you spend every hour outside of your primary income. The richest people in the world didn't inherit their wealth. They built it. They traded time temporarily for assets permanently. They got uncomfortable for a few years so they could be comfortable forever. Your current path leads to a predictable destination. Moderate comfort. Dependency on your employer. Regret at 60 that you never tried. The path of building assets is harder in the short term. It requires sacrifice, but it leads somewhere different. It leads to freedom. Not someday freedom, real freedom. Starting 5 years from now. The choice was always yours. You just didn't know it. You now understand something most people never will. The system isn't broken. It's working perfectly, just not for you. But here's what changes everything. Knowledge is useless without action. Reading this, understanding this, feeling motivated right now won't build wealth. Only one thing builds wealth. Decision followed by discipline. You have to decide right now that the next 5 years are different. Not different in fantasy. Different in action. Different in how you spend every hour outside of your primary income. The richest people in the world didn't inherit their wealth. They built it. They traded time temporarily for assets permanently. They got uncomfortable for a few years so they could be comfortable forever. Your current path leads to a predictable destination. Moderate comfort. Dependency on your employer. Regret at 60 that you never tried. The path of building assets is harder in the short term. It requires sacrifice, but it leads somewhere different. It leads to freedom. Not someday freedom. Real freedom. Starting 5 years from now. The choice was always yours. You just didn't know it. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and follow Wealth Logic. See you in the next one.